Lana opened her eyes slowly. The sky above was a dull gray, and strong winds blew dust across the ground. She tried to move, but pain shot through her side. Her spaceship had crashed. All she could see were broken parts scattered across the rough land. Her communicator sparked and was silent. She had sent out a distress signal right before the crash, but there was no reply. Her people might be searching, or they might not even know she was alive. She felt fear and loneliness growing in her heart. She dragged herself to a large rock and leaned against it. Her leg was hurt, and something sharp had cut into her side. Blood ran down her skin, a color not red like humans, but deep purple. She tore a strip from her suit and wrapped it around her waist to slow the bleeding. Her hands were shaking. The planet was quiet, except for the wind. There were no birds, no voices, and no sounds of life. Just endless rocks, dust, and cold air. The sun here was far away and weak. Lana shivered. Her body was built for warmer worlds. She looked around again. Her ship's remains were spread over a wide area. Smoke still rose from some parts. Her energy pack was gone, her tools broken, and food supplies scattered or burned. She knew she could not last long without help. Her people had rules. If one was lost or in danger, they sent help. But this planet was far from their normal paths. She had gone off course during an asteroid storm. Maybe no one even knew where to look. Hours passed. Lana stayed awake, hoping to hear a voice or see a ship. Her eyes were heavy, but she forced herself to stay alert. She knew if she slept, she might never wake up again. Then, in the distance, she saw a shape. At first, she thought it was a trick of the wind, but the shape moved closer. It walked on two legs. Her heart jumped. Could it be someone from her people? Or was it a creature of this strange planet? As the figure came nearer, she saw it was not one of her kind. It was a human. He wore a brown jacket, dusty pants, and a small pack on his back. He looked around carefully, then ran toward her when he saw she was injured. Lana tried to move, but she was too weak. She closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, the human was kneeling beside her. He had kind eyes and a calm voice. "You're hurt," he said softly. "Don't move too much. Let me help." She did not understand all his words, but his voice made her feel safe. He opened his pack and took out a small bottle. He poured a liquid on her wound. It stung, but then the pain began to fade. He used clean cloth to stop the bleeding and wrapped it tightly. Then he gave her a drink of water. It was cool and fresh. She drank slowly, not taking her eyes off him. "Name's Ben," he said with a small smile. "You're lucky I was in this area." "This place isn't on many maps." Lana blinked. She tried to speak. "Lana," she said weakly. "Lana," he repeated gently. "You're going to be okay." He looked at the broken ship and shook his head. "You won't be flying this thing again. But I've got a shelter not far from here. I'll get you there." She didn't know if she could trust him. But something in his voice and eyes told her he was different. He was not afraid of her. He didn't look at her like a monster. He was calm, kind, and careful. Ben lifted her gently. She winced at the pain but did not cry out. He moved slowly, trying not to hurt her more. They walked across the rocky ground, Lana leaning on him for support. For the first time since the crash, she felt a small bit of hope. She didn't know who this human was or why he chose to help her. But in a galaxy full of fear and war, one human had stopped to save a stranger, and that meant everything. As the sun dropped lower, Ben pointed toward a group of hills. "My camp's just behind there. We'll be safe soon." Lana nodded, still too weak to speak. She looked at him again. The human named Ben, he didn't have weapons. He didn't ask questions. He just helped. She didn't know it yet, but this meeting would change both of their lives forever. The sky turned dark as Ben and Lana reached a small rocky hill. Behind it, Ben had built a simple camp with a metal shelter, solar lights, and supplies. It was not big, but it was safe. He helped Lana inside and gave her a blanket. "You'll be warm here," he said, setting down a small heater beside her. Lana looked around. The place was clean and quiet. She had never been inside a human's camp before. Her kind thought that humans were dangerous, but this man had done nothing but help her. Ben gave her more water and a protein bar. Lana tasted it slowly. It was dry and sweet. She was still weak, but her strength was returning little by little. "I saw the smoke from your crash 2 days ago," Ben said, as he sat nearby. "Took me a while to find the right path. This planet is tricky." Lana nodded. Her voice was still soft. "You came, even when you did not know who I was. I saw someone needed help." "Doesn't matter what species you are," he said simply. His words touched her. On her world, many would not risk their lives for someone unknown. Ben had done it without question. That night, Ben stayed close. He checked Lana's wounds and made sure she was healing. He set up a small alarm system in case any creatures came near. Lana watched him work. His movements were careful, like someone used to being alone but still thoughtful. Before sleep, Ben looked at her and smiled. "I'm glad I found you in time. Get some rest. Tomorrow we figure out what to do next." Lana slept better than she expected. The heater kept the cold away, and the camp felt secure. For the first time since the crash, she did not feel alone. The next morning, Ben made a hot drink that smelled like flowers and wood. He offered a cup to Lana. She sipped it and smiled faintly. "What is this?" she asked. "Herbal tea," he said. "Good for healing." After breakfast, Ben walked out to check the area while Lana rested. When he returned, he brought a small device from his bag. It was a translator. "I figured you might speak something different," he said, placing it between them. "Let's make talking easier." Lana touched the device and spoke. The translator repeated her words in clear English. Her eyes lit up. "Now we can speak better." They talked for hours. Lana told him about her mission, how she was mapping space, routes for future travel. She had not expected the storm that threw her ship off course. Ben listened closely and asked gentle questions. He told her he was once a pilot in the human navy, but now he explored alone, looking for planets and old ruins. He showed her maps and photos from his tablet. Lana was surprised by how curious he was about space, life, and even her people. "Do you hate humans?" he asked at one point. She looked at him and shook her head. "I was told to fear humans, but you do not match the stories." Ben laughed a little. "I think we've all heard stories that don't tell the whole truth." Each day, Lana grew stronger. Her wounds were healing, and she could walk a little more. Ben helped her exercise her leg and made her laugh with strange human jokes. She began to smile again. On the third day, Lana sat by the entrance of the shelter, looking at the sky. "I keep thinking about my people. Will they come for me?" "Will they know I'm alive?" Ben sat beside her. "They might, but it could take time. This planet's far from main space routes. You're lucky I was here at all." Lana turned to him. "Why are you really here, Ben?" "This planet is not special." He paused. "I guess I was looking for something. Maybe peace. Maybe a reason to keep going. I lost someone close to me. Since then, I just travel." Lana placed a gentle hand on his arm. "Now you've helped someone else live. That means something." Ben smiled. "Yeah, it does." As night came again, Lana watched the stars. They looked different from this planet. Distant, quiet, but still beautiful. She knew now that her crash had brought her to a strange place. But in this strange place, she had found something rare, a human who cared. The days ahead would not be easy. They still had to survive, still had to wait for help. But she no longer feared the dark. She had a friend Dot, and that made all the difference. Lana walked slowly around the camp, leaning on a metal rod Ben had given her for support. Her legs still hurt, but she was healing. Each step was a little easier than the last. Ben watched her carefully, ready to help if she stumbled. "You're doing better every day," he said with a warm smile. "I feel stronger," she replied through the translator. "My body is healing." Ben nodded. "That's good. You'll need your strength if we're going to stay here for a while." The days passed quietly. Ben and Lana worked together to make the camp better. They added more stones around the shelter to block the wind. They fixed the solar panels so they would last longer. Lana even helped cook simple meals using Ben's supplies and a few edible plants they found nearby. Lana was surprised by how much she enjoyed these tasks. On her ship, she had machines for everything. But here she used her hands, her mind, and her trust in someone else. It felt real. It felt alive. At night, they sat outside the shelter and looked at the stars. Lana pointed out constellations from her world. Ben told her stories from Earth. "Do all humans live alone like you?" she asked one night. Ben shook his head. "No. I chose this. I needed space. Life was heavy. Out here, it's quiet. And now?" she asked. He looked at her and smiled. "Now it's better. You talk a lot more than the stars." Lana laughed. Her voice was soft, but full of life. "Your stars are not so quiet either. They are full of stories." On the 5th day, they heard a strange sound near the edge of the rocks. Ben stood quickly and picked up his old scanner. "Stay back," he told Lana. He moved forward, his eyes focused. Lana stayed near the shelter, but she watched him closely. A few minutes later, Ben returned, his face tense. "Tracks," he said. "Something large. Could be an animal. Could be more than one." Lana looked worried. "Dangerous?" "Could be," Ben said. "We need to be careful." That night, they set extra alarms. Lana couldn't sleep. She kept thinking of the two creatures Ben described. She knew many wild species could live on planets like this. Some were harmless. Others were hunters. Ben sat beside her. "You okay?" She nodded. "I trust you, but I still feel fear." "That's normal," he said. "Fear keeps us alert. We'll make it." The next morning, they checked the traps and found the food pack Ben had hidden outside was torn open. Big claw marks were on the box. Ben studied them. "Whatever it is, it's strong. We'll need to protect the camp." They spent the day building stronger walls around the shelter using metal sheets from Lana's wrecked ship. Lana guided Ben on how to cut and shape the alien metal. It was hard work, but they worked well as a team. In the evening, Lana sat down, breathing hard. "We are still alive." "That is enough for now." Ben sat beside her. "And we're not alone." That makes it easier. Later that night, the alarms went off. Loud, sharp sounds echoed through the camp. Ben grabbed a flare and rushed outside. Lana followed, limping but determined. They saw it then. A large creature with 4 legs and glowing eyes stood near the edge of the camp. It looked like a mix between a lizard and a wolf. It growled low. And Ben lit the flare and waved it. The light startled the creature. It stepped back. Lana picked up a small metal piece and banged it loudly. Together, they made as much noise as they could. After a long moment, the creature turned and ran into the dark. Ben dropped the flare and let out a breath. "That was close." Lana sat down. Her hands were shaking. "We scared it." "For now," Ben said. "It may come back. We need better defense." The next day, they made stronger doors for the shelter. They set more alarms and traps. Lana used a device from her ship to make a sound field to keep animals away. It drained power fast, but Ben found ways to recharge it with his panels. They worked harder than ever, but they did it together. Ben had survived alone for years. But now with Lana, everything felt different. He felt useful again. He felt seen. Lana felt it too. She had always followed orders, worked in silence, and lived by rules. Now every day was new. Every task was shared. And every moment she grew closer to the human who had saved her. That night, as they rested under the stars, Lana said, "I am not afraid anymore." Not when you are near. Ben looked at her and nodded. And I'm not alone anymore. Not with you here. Their friendship was growing stronger. They were two souls from different worlds, but they had found something rare and real. Together, they would face whatever came next. The sun rose slowly, casting a pale light over the rocky hills. Lana stood near the edge of the camp, watching the sky. She still hoped to see a ship from her people, but the sky remained empty. Ben walked over with 2 cups of hot tea. Still. Looking? He asked gently. Lana nodded. Every morning, I hope. But nothing yet. Ben handed her a cup. Maybe today. Or maybe tomorrow. Until then, we keep going. They sat in silence, sipping their drinks. The quiet was peaceful, but also heavy. Both of them knew time was passing, and supplies were slowly running out. That day, they explored the area around the camp. Lana could walk better now. Her strength had returned, and the pain in her leg was less. They walked through the rocky terrain, looking for anything useful. Ben taught Lana how to spot safe plants, how to check water, and how to set small traps. Humans, learn to survive, he said, even when the world is not kind. Lana smiled. Your world must be very hard. It can be, he said, but so can space. We all face danger in different ways. They found a small cave not far from the camp. It was dry and deep. Inside, they stored extra supplies. Lana marked the walls with symbols from her language, so she would not forget. Ben watched her with interest. What do those mean? He asked. My name, and the date I crashed. In case someone finds this later, she replied. He nodded. Smart, a message from you. That night, the wind blew stronger. Dust swept across the land, and the air turned cold. Inside the shelter, Ben and Lana sat close to the heater. The roof shook, but it held. This place is strong, Lana said. I had to make it that way, Ben said. Some storms last days. Once? I couldn't leave the shelter for a week. Lana looked at him. You were alone all that time? He nodded. I got used to it. But now it's different. You're here. Lana felt something warm in her chest. She didn't speak, but she smiled. The next morning, they found strange marks near the camp. Claw marks again, but this time closer. Ben looked serious. It came back, he said. It's watching us. Lana looked at the trees. Maybe it is waiting. They added more metal to the walls. Lana used her scanner to detect movement. That night, the alarm stayed quiet. But the feeling of danger hung in the air. Days passed. Lana began recording short messages on her device, hoping someone from her world would hear them. Ben worked on fixing a small transmitter from her ship. They had little power, but it might send a short signal. One evening, the device blinked. Lana ran to it. The light meant a signal had gone out. It worked, she said. Maybe they will hear. Ben smiled. Let's hope. That night they stayed up late. The stars were bright, and the wind was calm. If your people come, Ben asked, will you leave right away? Lana looked at him. She was quiet for a moment. I will go if they let me, but I will ask if you can come too. Ben blinked. Me? On your ship? You saved my life, she said. You are my friend. I want you to see my world. Ben smiled, but his eyes were thoughtful. I never thought I'd leave this planet again. Lana placed a hand on his. Then maybe it's time to think about new things. They stayed outside for a long time, watching the sky, but danger was not finished with them. The next morning, the creature returned. This time, it attacked. The alarm screamed as it charged the camp. Ben grabbed a flare, and Lana held her scanner. The beast broke through the outer fence. It roared, tall and fast, with long claws and sharp teeth. Ben threw the flare at its eyes. The bright light made it stop for a second. Lana used her scanner to send a shock wave. The sound hit the creature's ears, and it screamed in pain. Together, they fought. Ben used metal poles to block its path. Lana found a piece of her ship's engine and used it to release heat and noise. The creature finally backed off, growling, and limped away into the dark. Lana was breathing hard. Her arm was scratched. Ben had a cut on his cheek. "You okay?" he asked Dot. She nodded. "We did it. We make a good team," Ben said. They looked at the broken fence. They would need to rebuild again. But they were alive. That night, Lana sat with Ben near the heater. "I'm not just waiting anymore," she said. "I'm living, even here." Ben smiled. "Same here. And it's better because we're not alone." They knew help might come. Or it might not. But whatever happened, they had each other. And that gave them strength. The stars above were silent. But in the small shelter, two hearts had found light in the dark. The morning was calm. A soft wind passed through the hills, carrying the scent of dust and dry plants. Ben walked outside the shelter, checking the traps and solar panels. Lana followed him, her steps light and steady. She had healed a lot. "You? Move like you were never hurt," Ben said with a smile. "I feel strong now," Lana answered. "You helped me heal." They worked side by side, gathering wood and checking supplies. Ben showed Lana how to build a new trap. She was quick to learn her. Hands clever and calmed Dot as they walked back to camp. Lana looked up at the sky. "Do you ever miss Earth?" she asked Dot. Ben nodded slowly. "Sometimes I miss the trees, the rain, and people I knew. But Earth is full of noise. Here, there is peace." "I miss my ship," Lana said. "It was my home. But this place is strange, and it changed me." That afternoon, they sat by a small fire near the shelter. Ben had found old music on a device and played a soft song. Lana listened with closed eyes. "It sounds like water," she said. "It's an old Earth song," Ben explained. "It's about hope." Lana smiled. "Hope is good. We need it here." Suddenly a sound broke the calm. The transmitter blinked again. Lana rushed to it. The signal was different this time. A message. Ben leaned in. "What does it say?" Lana read it slowly. "It's from my people. They received the signal. A ship is coming. They will be here in 3 days." Ben's face changed. He looked happy, but also quiet. "That's great news," he said. Lana looked at him closely. "You are not happy." "I am," he said softly. "You will be safe again. You'll go home." She put a hand on his arm. "You saved me. I don't want to forget that." "You won't," Ben said. "But your life is out there. I'll stay here." Lana didn't answer right away. Her mind was full of thoughts. She looked at the hills, the sky, and then at Ben. Later, they prepared for the ship's arrival. Lana helped fix a landing marker with bright lights. They cleaned the area and packed what she wanted to take with her. Ben gave her one of his maps, marked with their camp, the cave, and the path they had walked together. "This is your story now," he said. "It's our story," she replied. That night, the creature returned. The camp alarms blared. Lana and Ben jumped. Up, the creature was faster this time, and more angry. Ben threw a torch toward it. Lana activated her sound scanner again. The beast roared and pushed closer. Ben grabbed a metal rod and stood in front of Lana. "Go to the shelter," he yelled. "I'm not leaving you," she shouted back. Together, they fought the creature. Ben struck it with the rod while Lana used bright flashes from her scanner to blind it. After a long battle, the creature ran into the darkness. They were both out of breath, scratched and dirty. Ben laughed a little. "We're going to need better weapons." Lana smiled through her tiredness. "Maybe my people can help when they arrive." 2 days passed. On the 3rd day, the sky lit up with a bright light. Lana stood on the hill, eyes wide. A sleek alien ship moved through the clouds and slowly landed near the camp. Ben stood beside her. "Looks like your ride is here." Lana turned to him. "Will you come with me? Even just to visit?" Ben looked at the ship, then back at her. I don't know. This world is my home now. You don't have to decide today, she said. But I want you to know you are welcome always. The ship door opened, and alien crew members walked out. They looked surprised to see a human. Lana stepped forward and spoke to them. She pointed to Ben. This human saved my life. Treat him with respect. The aliens nodded. They offered thanks and supplies. One of them gave Ben a communicator. So we can talk, Lana said, even if we're far apart. Ben took it. Thank you for everything. Lana turned back before stepping onto the ship. I will tell my people about you. Maybe this is not the end. Ben nodded. Maybe it's the beginning. The ship rose slowly, and Ben watched as it disappeared into the sky. He stood there for a long time, holding the communicator in his hand. He didn't feel alone, because somewhere out there in the wide galaxy, he had a friend. And that was enough for now. Ben sat by the edge of the hill, watching the sky where Lana's ship had disappeared days ago. The camp was quiet again. The sounds of her voice, her laughter, and her questions were gone. The wind was the only thing that kept him company now. Looked at the small communicator in his hand. It was a gift from Lana. Every day he checked it, hoping for a message. On the 5th day, the device lit up. A soft beat broke the silence. Ben's heart jumped. He opened it. Ben, Lana's voice said, clear and calm. We arrived safely. My people are surprised by my story, but they are listening. They are talking about peace, about humans. I hope you are safe. Ben smiled and held the device close. Her voice was like a light in the dark. He replied, I'm safe. The camp is quiet without you. I hope your people see what I saw in you. That night, he felt less alone in the days that followed. Ben repaired parts of the camp. He added stronger walls and cleaned the shelter. He kept the fire pit ready and stocked the cave with food. He did not know if anyone would visit, but he wanted to be prepared. Lana sent more messages. She told him her people were studying the planet and the creature that had attacked them. They wanted to know how she had survived. She spoke about Ben often. You are becoming a legend here, she joked in one message. The human who fought a beast with a metal rod. Ben laughed when he heard that. He answered, tell them I had help. You were the smart one. Weeks passed. One day, as Ben walked near the hills, he saw a strange light in the sky. It was not a star. It moved fast and low. He grabbed his scanner. The light stopped above the old crash site. Ben ran toward it. When he reached the place, he saw a small alien craft. It looked like a scout ship. The door opened, and 2 aliens stepped out. One of them held a tablet. Are you Ben? Ben nodded slowly. Yes. The alien smiled. Lana sent us. She asked us to bring you. If you wish. Ben was quiet. He looked back toward the camp, then at the ship. Is she all right? She's fine. She speaks of you often. Ben thought for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, I'll come. The ship was small but fast. Inside, Ben sat near a window, watching the stars rush by. He had not left the planet in years. Everything felt new again. When the ship landed, Ben stepped out and looked around. He was in a large city, full of light and color. The buildings were tall, the sky bright, and the people curious. Lana was waiting. She ran to him and smiled wide. You came. You sent for me, Ben said. How could I say no? She showed him around. The city was peaceful. Her people were quiet and polite. Many of them stared at Ben, but no one was rude. Lana introduced him to her team. This is the man who saved me, she said. This is Ben. They nodded in respect. Some even thanked him. Lana took him to a large hall where leaders spoke of peace. One of them, an elder with silver skin, stood and said, We have feared humans, but now we see. Not all stories are true. Ben listened, feeling strange but honored. Later, Lana and Ben sat in a quiet garden. You changed everything, she said. They want to open talks with Earth. All I did was help someone in trouble, Ben said. And that was enough. They sat together, looking at the stars above. "Will you stay here?" Lana asked Dot. Ben thought for a moment. "Maybe not forever. But for now, I want to see what this place becomes. What we can build." Lana smiled. "Then let's build it together." In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the past, not the danger, not even the stars. Just two lives that had met by chance, now working to change the future. And somewhere, deep inside both of them, they knew this was just the beginning of something greater. Lana and Ben stood together on a balcony overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky with soft orange and purple colors. The city below was full of life, with lights turning on and people moving about. It was a place full of hope and new beginnings. Ben looked at Lana and smiled. "I never thought my life would lead here." Lana nodded. "Neither did I, but sometimes life surprises us in the best ways." Their journey had been hard. From a crash on a lonely planet to fights with strange creatures, they had faced danger and fear. But through it all, they found friendship, trust, and something more. The leaders of Lana's people had open talks with Earth. The two worlds, once strangers and afraid, were now ready to learn and work together. Ben and Lana were part of this new hope. One evening, Lana invited Ben to a gathering. It was a simple event, but full of meaning. People from both worlds came to meet and share stories. Ben was surprised to see how much his presence meant to the aliens. He felt welcome and respected. Lana took Ben aside. "I have something to ask you." He looked at her, curious. "Will you stay with me, here or on Earth or wherever we go?" "I don't want to face the future alone." Ben's heart beat faster. He had never imagined this moment. But looking into Lana's eyes, he knew. "Yes," he said softly, "I want to be with you." They smiled and held hands. It was a simple promise, but it meant the world. Time passed. They traveled between Earth and Lana's home planet. They learned from each other's cultures and shared stories. Their bond grew stronger. Ben helped build new projects to connect the two worlds. Lana worked to teach peace and understanding. Together, they showed what could happen when fear was replaced by trust. One day, as they walked in a garden filled with strange flowers and soft light, Lana stopped. "Ben, do you remember the day you found me?" He laughed. "How could I forget? You were hurt and stubborn." She smiled. "And you were patient and kind. You saved my life." "And you saved mine," he said. They looked at each other, knowing their story was more than just survival. It was about hope, friendship, and love. As the sun set, they stood close, ready to face whatever the future held. Together. The end. Let me know if you'd like this saved in a document, or if you'd like me to do anything else.